Glory be to God. I'm going to share with you guys a miracle that not has only taken place in the Bible, but I have done so myself in my life. And I'm going to tell you how I use this miracle as well for God to provide in my catering business. And I didn't ask to do it as I needed it. I did it because I knew God would bless it and would go further. But listen how it goes, okay? Mark 8, 5 through 9. How many loaves do you have? Jesus asked. 7, they replied. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. When he had taken the 7 loaves and given thanks, and he broke them and gave them to the disciples to distribute them to the people. And they did so. They had a few small fish as well. He gave them thanks for them also and told the disciples to distribute them. The people ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up the 7 baskets of broken pieces that were left over. About 4,000 were present. Christ took 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish and fed 5,000 people. 5,000 people. 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Now he raised it up to God and gave thanks, and asked God to bless it. Well, God, being our provider, Jehovah Jireh, knows what we need. And he knew those people needed to eat and that Christ needed them to have enough food. Well, that miracle you can do on a daily basis. There's been times when people have come over and I was cooking, just enough for my mom and I or something. And when my youngest son would come and he'd bring like 4 or 5 friends. I'm like, okay, there's just enough for 2, but I wasn't going to send anybody away and I wasn't going to cook extra food. So I prayed and I asked God to bless it. Ask God to bless the food. So between 7 and 8 of us would eat and all be satisfied. My catering business, okay? I'd always, say, God, please bless this food that I purchase, that I prepare, that I serve, and as the people eat it, as my customers eat it, may it be a blessing, honor, glory unto you in your holy name. Father, maybe we worship you in this. Well, I'd measure out the food of 36 ounces. Some of the dishes that they ordered were 36 ounces. When my customers would get the food, they said, there's no way. They would notify me. This is not 36 ounces. You only charged me for 36 ounces. I weighed this on my scale in the bathroom. It's 5 pounds. 5 pounds. You're overfeeding us and not charging us enough. No. I measured out the 36 ounces, but then I blessed it. I asked God to bless it. I gave thanks to God that it may go further for you. They would eat that dish. All their family would share it at the table, and there would still be more left over. See, God knows what you need. When the disciples got back on the boats and said, "Oh, we forgot the bread. We don't know what to do," and that's in Mark 17. I had to think for a second. I'm sorry. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked them, "Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see and have ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basket of pieces did you pick up?" 12, they replied. "And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up?" They answered, 7. He said to them, "Do you still not understand? God will always provide. Jehovah Jireh, our provider. He knows the bills you have. He knows what you need to eat. He knows you need gas money for your car. He knows you need your car fixed. He knows everything. Everything. I had read a little paper one time my mom gave me, and I read it and I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. It really hit my heart. And it was a gentleman asking, God, why did you allow my electricity to go out? He says, because the little foot soaker that you were soaking your foot in had a shortage and it would have caused a fire. Well, why did you make me late to work? Because there was a car accident up ahead that you would not have been able to avoid. Well, why did they take so long making my lunch and that person went behind in the back and didn't make my lunch? I needed my sandwich made and I had to wait and wait and wait for somebody else to make it. Well, because that other person was really sick and I knew you couldn't afford to miss work. God knows what you need when you need it. You have read this and you know this story of the miracle Christ performed. But yet you still worry. You still fret. God has not failed you yet, and he's not going to start failing you. So those who have eyes, let them see his word and his miracle and the miracles in your life. Those who have ears, let them hear. Stop worrying, little one. God's got you. God loves you, and I love you dearly. I send miracles, healing, and blessing from the Father to you. God's got you. You're going to be okay. God promises you. I love you. God bless you abundantly, and may his grace consume you.